flies, him and his wife will fly business class, and the kids are in economy class.
They're in the back.
And now he's just come under fire. Everyone is like, oh, how selfish when you've got the means. And he's like, hey, calm down. Hang on there, buddy. In the words of Dan Corder. Hang on there, buddy.
Hang on there, buddy.
Hang on there, buddy. No, it's my children. This is how I'm going to raise them. They will fly economy class and I'll fly business.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to know, what does the city think about this?
I really don't see a problem with it. Just because I've got money doesn't mean that my kids are necessarily entitled. Guys, you've got to learn a bit of flying. Firstly, is a privilege, but then you've got to learn a little bit of adversity. You've got to learn that it's a little cramped there in economy. The countries.
And also, kids aren't cramped in economy.
No,
that's
they're
their
not.
business class. They have leg room.
But also, you've got to have when they're growing up, they've got to have something to aspire to. One day, I want to buy myself a business class ticket. If you just give everything to kids from day one, they'll never learn.
Also, I just feel like unless you're flying for business, my child, relax. You're not going on business class.
There is something a little bit weird. I've seen it before, where the little kids walk into business class, and then they have these massive seats, and they're like
and a teddy
4
bear.
or 5. Yeah. In the little blankie, and I was like, it feels weird.
And then you always get into a fight because business class always has like this fancy food, and the kids just want a curry and rice or nuggets or mac and cheese. So most of the time they have to go get your child food back in economy class because the kids like that.
Yeah.
So you don't see anything wrong with it?
No, I don't think. If I had the means, I suppose I'd have my kids next to me if I could fly business class with them.
Kind of line of sight thing. You want to see your children as well.
Yeah, but I know that if I had children, I knew they're just like 2 seconds away down the corridor. It's not like the plane is massive, So
011-8838-947. How do you do it in your household? Because guys, also business class is not cheap, eh?
It is
in fact,
wildly
just
expensive.
a flight anyway is not cheap. Thank you, FlySafe Air, for taking away business class. Now we're all the same, eh? We are all the same. But here's the thing. And I think the conversation at hand here, are there specific things that you purposely, and it's not whether you can afford or not, but you're purposely not getting your kids because you want them to get it themselves? Like, for a fact you can buy your child a car. You're never going to do it because they must work for their own car.
Right.
For a fact that you can buy your child an apartment. You're never going to do it. They must rent first, figure it out by themselves, go to the bank, get their own bond. Yeah. Do it yourself, my darling. The rest of us did.
Even at a smaller level, I've got a friend who's got a teenager and her son wants these very expensive sneakers, and their deal is that he has to save up for them. She can afford to buy them, but she's saying to have value, to be able to appreciate the value of an exclusive range sneaker, you save for it.
Yeah.
That's why there's that saying, if you spoil your children, you'll raise your grandchildren, hey?
But I think people have interesting ways of doing this. And everyone has their own little rule. It might be, okay, fine, I'm going to set you up with a car and a house because I can, and because it was really difficult and it really helps you along the way. But I draw the line here.
This,
this,
that.
or that. Yeah.
084-0000-947. The discussion is Robbie Williams refuses to fly his kids business class, and he can afford it. I mean, they could fly private, actually.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's not going to happen. What's your take on this? And then, are there things that you can afford but you refuse to get for your kids because you feel like it's a character building thing and they must get it themselves? So, if you just join us, thank you, with Anele and The Club on 947. The discussion at hand, Robbie Williams, big-time superstar. He was in the country just the other day, right?
Yeah, a few months ago.
He refuses to fly his kids business class. If they're going anywhere, holiday, wherever, he puts them in economy class, and him and his wife, they ride up front with business class, and he says they will buy their own business class tickets, right? So we're asking, what's your take on that? Are you like that? And more importantly, are there other things that you just like, I know I can afford this for my children, but I refuse to buy it for them. They must work for it and get it themselves.
This is Ria, and I think if my parents are flying business class, I should also fly business class because it's not fair.
I don't think anything's wrong with letting your children ride in economy while you are in first class. they take what they get. At least they are on an airplane.
I would sooner send my kids to business first class, and I would sit in economy to make sure that they were comfortable and happy.
We took our kids to New York and then to Disney World. And yeah, they were all in economy while we were in business.
Yes,
but
sir.
I once flew first class where somebody brought their baby. And it was the one time I was flying first class. It was jumping over the seats. It was crying. It was carrying on. So yeah, no babies in first class, no babies in business class. Thank you.
I know he was appalled because he calls it it. It was climbing over the seats.
You can relate to him, eh? You like, this my dude.
Yes, it.
Me and this dude are the ones. Helen, good morning. Welcome to Anele and The Club.
Hi, Anele and The Club. How are you guys?
Well, we good, Helen. Helen, I'm gonna tell you right now, you sound wise. Like she just got like like this wisdom is oozing out of the warmth of your voice, madam.
I'm not wise every time.
Well, we're about to find out. What's your take on this?
Okay, I don't let my kids ride in my car every time. So I make them use public transport.
Oh wow!
I want them to learn that mommy will not be there every time. And I'm not available every time. And I don't want them to use boats or what every time. It's looking like first class every time.
I get what you're saying.
Yes.
Because I didn't use public transport, right? Until I got to first year. And then, girl, now
Taxis.
it's taxis, my friend. And now my boyfriend's at Wits. I'm in Midrand. Who's gonna take you to? Who's gonna take you to? I promise you that I had to learn taxis the hard way.
Yes. And it helped.
Yeah.
It helped. You need to have references and stuff. I think for me, I take it in terms of them not being entitled to everything in life. They need to learn that everything is not handed to you easily. You need to go.
Do you know what it is for me? So with the public transport thing, it's not even about learning about hardship. What I find now, looking at everyone with kids around me, well, your kids are not street smart, eh? And in life,
And they don't know where
you'll get
things
taken
are.
for a ride. You look at them, you're like, oh, you're in a dangerous situation, but you're completely unaware because mommy and daddy have always sheltered you from real life and how people move outside your home.
And it happens there in first year.
Yes.
There's just certain things you must expose your kids to so that by the time they get to first year, they're just aware.
Yeah, not to suffer, but just to know.
To just know.
I it's also an exercise in independence.
Yeah.
Like this conversation,
Yeah.
exercise in independence. Your son, Alake, I was so impressed the other day because it didn't even cross your mind, right?
Yeah.
But immediately I was like, this is incredible. You said to him, go cut your hair. Uncle King will take you.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I went, how old is he now?
He's turning 10 in
He's turning 10.
August.
I don't think I was 16 before I went on a trip like that on my own. Because it's that interaction.
Yeah.
Now I've got to go speak to a woman at the counter. Hi, woman, is there space for me? Can I cut my hair?
Learn
Like
how
there's
to ask what you want.
You know what I'm saying? We have to have a conversation, the grown-up and me.
Even in hotels, ne? Or if Alake has to do something, he must pick up the phone and book it.
That's what I'm saying.
It's your thing, bruh. It's your thing. My hair's fine. Okay, not right now. This moment, my hair is terrible.
We'll post pictures later.
But like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, go do it. And you're right. I
It's
was
a
like,
confidence,
hey,
independence.
your hair, go get your hair cut. Cheers. And he goes there and he's got a relationship with his barber and he knows exactly who his barber is and all of that.
Exactly.
And he knows if he gets there and there's a queue, he must find other things to do inside the mall. Up until the uncle cuts his hair is ready, then he goes back.
Yeah, and same story here with the taxis. Like it's an independence thing. You've got to negotiate your way through
Very
life.
true.
Very clever.
Mpo, talk to us.
Good morning, guys. What I do is, morning. What I do is my kids get an allowance every month, right? And for their friends' birthdays and birthday presents, my kids actually have to buy their friends presents using their pocket money.
Because
Yes, I
it's
can
their
afford it.
friends, bruh. It's your
They're not my
friend.
friends.
It's your
Yeah, they're
friend.
not my friends.
Why am I buying Jade a gift?
Absolutely. And like in their allowance, there's still also an allowance for, I deduct money. So they've got a gross income and a
Wow.
net income.
She's texting
So I
her
deduct
kids.
money.
SARS.
I am.
Gosh. Wow, mom.
But there's money that goes towards housing. There's money that goes towards entertainment.
Oh.
There's money that goes towards transport. Because when I started working and I got that first letter, that offer letter, and you see this amount, after deduction, I was like, I can't afford to live. So from now, as they're growing up, they must learn that, listen, you need to manage your money and you need to ensure that whatever you need, if you need to save for khakis, comes out of your allowance. If you need to buy your friend a present, you need to save for it from your allowance money, because that's it. You got your net income. That's it.
Thembekile, who's your uncle there, the commissioner of SARS?
Edward Kisweta.
Yeah, this is whom boy is. She's like,
He's punching the air right now. He's going,
like,
yes, boy, yes.
teach them, yeah.
Oh, your allowance is going up. You're now in the 41% taxation scale.
Tax returns and everything. You haven't done your tax returns, eh? And you're not going to come with on holiday until we have all of that.
I just want to say to the lady who would rather fly the economy to make sure that her kids are comfortable, I feel sorry for your son's wife one day. Like, please don't baby your kids so much.
Robbie Williams says that he flies business. His children fly economy. It's a given thing. He does not let them fly business, even though he can afford to do it. He says, no. They don't need to fly business, and they need to learn.
And then one day, when you are going on business, you then can...
Yeah, you can fly business.
You can fly business.
Yeah.
It's easy. The first time I flew business, I was being flown for business.
Yeah.
Right? And then that's when it opens up a world of opportunity for you. You're like, oh, actually, it's quite nice up here. I'm going to work hard and make sure that this is where I stay, type of thing. I think it's a clear thing, maybe. It's a clear thing there for Robbie Williams. But there's also then things where you decide, you know what, I can afford this for my kids, but they're not going to get it.
Yeah, as a parent, these are going to be my rules, you know?
Totally agree with Robbie Williams. We saw a couple doing this some years ago while we were traveling with our kids. As soon as our eldest one turned 16 and they can take care of the younger brother at the back there while we ride business class.
The thing that I'm not giving my children, even though I can afford to, is electric blankets. I refuse. I think that's something that they should do and look forward to when they're adults.
That's
My
wild.
son is very specific with his hair and where he gets it done. So I have a certain budget for one of the guys who would cut his hair that we would take him to. The barber that he chooses to go to is a lot more expensive, which means that he has to cover the difference. He also books his own appointments. He makes arrangements to get there and all of that.
That's also a very interesting lesson, is that the service we choose for you is
this
cheaper.
much.
And if you want to go to this guy because you want to, I don't know, do highlights or whatever, you wanted to cut certain way, it's going to cost more. So you've got to cover that.
I'll take money out of Alaka's pocket money for his, because he plays every club soccer, club cricket. What guys?
Yeah, it's a lot of clubs.
Excuse me, Francopina. Okay,
Yeah.
Some things you're gonna have to pay for yourself. Your school offers soccer, that's free type of thing. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anything above and beyond, you're covering that for yourself, and it's for you. Hey, you want to do this extramural activity.
Well, that's what I was going to say, because they offer it at school. You do it at school.
Yeah.
So if you want to do it at a club level or,
Above and
extra
beyond.
club, then, I mean, you've got to fit in your own
We're
calculus
meeting
there.
halfway, my friend. We're meeting halfway. Daniela, good morning. Welcome to Anele and The Club.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
We are great. Wow, Danielle, you are a tough cookie.
Yeah.
So you refuse to buy what for your kids?
I refuse to buy my kids toys. They get an allowance each month for doing chores around the house and everything. And I just feel toys is not a necessity. You don't need it to live. So I just believe that if you want a toy, you can save up and you can buy your own toy.
Can I ask, because I'm interested to know here, because they have to buy their own toys, they're obviously a lot more selective on what they spend the money on, right?
Yes, and I found that because they pay for their own toys,
they look after them.
They actually look after them, and they actually, they don't throw it around or
leave it at the
give
gate.
it to other kids. Yes, so they actually look after them better because they buy it with their own money and they appreciate it more, because now they're saying, okay, but I paid for this. I know how much it costs. I know how much it's going to cost to replace it. So I am going to look after it.
And do you find that they are obsessing about a toy now, but because they can't afford it, a month from now they're actually going, I'm glad I didn't buy that because I don't want it anymore?
Yes. So they go and they'll be. One day it will be, I want an LOL doll, and then they get to the point where they can actually afford the LOL doll, and then they'll be like, no, I don't really want it anymore. I saw something that is much better.
And you know
and
what?
then they'll actually have enough money to go and buy that.
The psychology behind that lasts you even into adulthood.
Adulthood, yeah.
Because sometimes I'll want like a bag because, someone had it and Kim Kardashian had this bag, whatever, And then by the time I save up for it, and
then you get there and you're like,
because I remember I really wanted, those Christian Dior bags that are written Christian Dior on the side and they've got like the blueprint.
Yes,
like the quintessential Dior print.
Yes.
That thing is expensive. I must have saved for a year, guys, to try to get myself that bag. As soon as I could get it, I was like,
Yeah, now you look at your bank account and you go, do I really want to spend this money on a bag? That sounds ludicrous.
I said, somebody else going to have to, not with my money. Sipo, good morning.
Good morning, Tim.
Morning.
Sipo, you disagree with everything that's been said on the show. You say if you can afford to take your kids on business class, take them on business class.
Not necessarily, Tim. What I'm saying is, remember, we are trying to raise independent men and women. So that's what that guy did is a perfect example to say, listen, I have money to take you to business class, but this is a teachable moment that we have to work for your stuff. I'll be going to business class because I've worked hard. So you guys, I'm taking you wherever we're going, but you'll sit at economy. So you need to work to be able to have a seat here at business class. So this is what basically we're trying as parents to raise independent kids that if you are not around, they'll be able to take care of themselves.
But now listen, and I'm going to throw a spanner in the works here. So I remember this must have been, we were in our 20s, early 20s, so I'm going to say 22, 23. And one of my friends said, I will be able to afford, he said, if I can afford to buy my kids a Ferrari when they're 18 or 19, I'm going to buy them a Ferrari, right? And we were all like, that is crazy. We were all like, that is crazy.
Why?
But now, amongst all of us, he's the only one that can afford to buy his kids a Ferrari at 18. So do you not think that he kind of, I don't know what's the English way for what I want to say. He kind of placed himself manifestation-wise that's where he's working towards.
Right.
And that's what's going to happen. Type of thing. Because at the current moment, he's the only one amongst us that can buy his kids a Ferrari, guys.
But the interesting thing, because I know who you're talking about here, right? And the interesting is because he's got the philosophy, I want to give it to them so it's not strange.
Yes.
Right? So they are not they're not striving towards something that just because you've made up this, the world has made up this ideal
of that thing is success,
thing, right?
Right.
So that's his philosophy.
He says he wants his kids to discover their own
success,
definition of success.
Yeah.
And when you give them everything, then you can push them further. Then his kids are going to be more evolved.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I said this off air as well. I have a group of friends whose dad they got married and he gave them a house and he gave them cars, so they have no debt, right? Which now you would think they won't work as hard. They work twice as hard as anyone, right? And because he's done that for them, they are leaps and bounds ahead of everyone else. They don't have debt, so they're saving and investing and buying their own things, and they really are 10, 15 years down the road, way more successful. It goes either way, I think, but it's an interesting way to think about it.
You see now, so of everything we've discussed in this past hour, take what we're saying here now at the end.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah, I mean, it's your own life, your kids,
it's your money,
how you look at it.
But every now and then, you must look at things from the other side of your belief system because you could learn something.
Anele and the Club on 947.